Did you ever imagine that after working so hard all your life, raising a family, saving what you could, and trying to do everything right, you'd still have to worry about protecting what's yours? It doesn't feel fair. And yet, here we are. The truth is, life after 70 can be full of unexpected challenges, especially when it comes to your health, your money, and your peace of mind. You're not alone in feeling like things have changed faster than you expected, and not always in ways that make sense. See, no one really tells you how much can still be at risk, even in retirement. We think we're past the hard parts, but the truth is, some of the biggest risks show up quietly. They don't make noise. They don't come with a warning sign. They just slip in: a small financial decision, a forgotten account, a bit of misplaced trust, and before you know it, things start to unravel. That's why this video matters. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about real issues that many people over 70 are facing, often without even realizing it. And we're not just going to talk about the problems, we're going to talk about smart, simple ways to protect yourself, your savings, and your independence. This isn't about scaring you. It's about preparing you, and giving you back some control. Because you deserve to feel safe and confident about your future, not anxious or unsure. We're going to break it down into 4 important truths that every older adult should know. Now, before we dive in, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from? Comment below and share your city. I always enjoy hearing from you. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips like these. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. Point 1. Don't hand over full control of your finances, even to people you trust. Now I know this one can feel uncomfortable, but it's important. A lot of older adults end up losing money, not because they were careless, but because they trusted too easily. And I'm not saying trust is a bad thing. In fact, it's a beautiful thing to have people in your life you feel safe with. But here's the hard truth: handing over complete control of your finances to someone else, even your own child, can open the door to mistakes you can't undo. You might think, my daughter would never do anything wrong, or, my son has always taken care of me. And maybe they never would. But it's not always about bad intentions. Sometimes it's just poor decisions, outside pressure, or confusion about what's really best for you. And once your name is no longer the only one on the account, once someone else has the legal power to move your money, make choices, or sign documents on your behalf, it's hard to take that power back. Let me be clear, giving someone access is not the same as giving them control. There's a difference. It's okay to get help. It's okay to ask someone to sit with you while you pay bills or review statements. But what's not okay is putting your entire financial future into someone else's hands without safeguards in place. I've heard too many stories: someone adds a relative to their bank account just to make things easier. A few months later, money starts disappearing, and they're told it's legal because the account is shared. Or someone signs a power of attorney without really understanding the terms, and later finds out that decisions were made behind their back. This happens quietly. Slowly. And once the money is gone, there's not much the bank or the law can do. That's why you need boundaries, not because you don't love or trust your family, but because you're protecting yourself and them from regret down the road. If you do need to give someone access, talk to a legal professional first. Set limits. Make it clear what they can and can't do. Look into options like limited power of attorney or revocable trusts, things that still keep you in charge, but let someone step in if needed. And always, always keep your own records. Ask questions. Don't sign anything you don't fully understand. You've spent a lifetime building what you have. Don't give up control just to make life easier. There's a better way, one that protects your money and your peace of mind. Point 2. Watch out for small, recurring expenses that quietly drain your money. Here's something that surprises a lot of people: it's not always the big decisions that hurt your finances the most. Sometimes it's the tiny ones. The ones you don't even notice. A few dollars here, a few dollars there. Month after month. And before you know it, thousands of dollars have quietly slipped through your fingers. Think about all the things you might be paying for right now without realizing it. Old subscriptions. Streaming services you don't watch anymore. A membership to something you stopped using years ago. Maybe an extra insurance policy that doesn't even apply to your current life. These things feel small, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Because they don't grab your attention. They just quietly take your money while you're focused on more important things. A lot of companies know this. That's why they make it easy to sign up for something and incredibly hard to cancel it. They count on you forgetting. And when you're not tracking every little charge, especially if it's just $10 or $15, it becomes easy to let it slide. But those small amounts add up, especially on a fixed income. And it's not just about the money, it's also about the feeling. When your bank balance is lower than expected, and you can't figure out why, it can create stress, confusion, even shame. But I want you to know, there is no shame in this. It happens to a lot of smart, careful people. You're not alone, and you're not foolish. The real mistake would be ignoring it once you realize it's happening. You can take control. Take 1 hour, just one, to go through your bank statements and credit card bills. Look for anything that's auto-renewing or charging you every month. If you're not sure what it is or why it's there, ask someone you trust to help you look it up. And if you're not using it, cancel it. There are even simple tools online that help you do this in just a few clicks. It's not just about saving money, it's about making sure your money is being used in ways that actually improve your life. Things that bring joy, comfort, and health. Not things you forgot about years ago. Even reclaiming $50 a month makes a difference. That's groceries. Medication. A small gift for your grandkids. Something that brings a smile. That money belongs to you. You worked for it. Let's make sure it's being used in ways that support your life, not someone else's profit. Point 3, don't rely on just one source of income, create small backups. Now let's talk about something that many older adults don't think about until it's too late. What happens when your main source of income just isn't enough anymore? For most people over 70, income comes from one or two places: Social Security, maybe a pension. And while those are important, they don't always stretch as far as they used to. Groceries cost more. Medications cost more. Property taxes go up. Life keeps getting more expensive, and unfortunately, those monthly checks don't always grow with it. Depending on just one income stream is like walking a tightrope without a safety net. If anything changes, even slightly, you're left scrambling. One unexpected medical bill, one delay in your Social Security deposit, and suddenly you're feeling stressed, stuck, or worse, vulnerable. But here's something a lot of people don't realize: even after 70, you can build small income backups. I'm not talking about getting a job or doing anything that tires you out. I'm talking about small, simple ideas that give you a little extra breathing room. Maybe you've got a small space in your home you could rent out, even just for storage. Maybe you have a garage, a driveway, or an RV pad someone would pay to use. Maybe you've collected things over the years, old furniture, tools, vintage items, that could be sold online or locally for cash. You might even have a hobby that could turn into a tiny side income: knitting, fixing things, making homemade treats, or teaching something you know. Even something like converting a small part of your savings into a low-risk annuity can provide a steady little check each month. Nothing huge, but enough to give you peace of mind. The point is this: having more than one source of income gives you choices. It helps you breathe easier. It protects you from feeling like everything rides on one check. You don't need to become a business person. You just need one or two small things that support you, just in case. And here's the real benefit: it's not just about money. It's about independence. It's about not having to ask for help. It's about feeling like you're still in control of your life, your decisions, your future. That kind of peace is worth more than any paycheck. When you diversify, you give yourself protection. And that's one of the smartest things you can do, not just financially, but emotionally too. Point 4. Keep your estate plans and beneficiaries up to date. This last one might feel a little heavy, but it's one of the most important steps you can take to protect your loved ones, and your legacy. It's about making sure your will, your beneficiary forms, and your estate plans are current. Not just written once and forgotten about, but updated to match your life as it is now. A lot of older adults make the mistake of thinking that once their will is written, the job is done. But life keeps changing, people come and go, relationships evolve, finances shift. And if your paperwork doesn't reflect those changes, it can create serious problems when the time comes for your family to handle things on your behalf. Let's say you created a will 15 or 20 years ago. Maybe back then, you named someone as a beneficiary or executor who has since passed away. Or maybe you listed a bank account you no longer use. Maybe your family situation looks completely different now, new grandkids, remarriage, or distance between relatives. That old paperwork might no longer match your current wishes. And that mismatch can lead to confusion, legal fights, or even your assets going to the wrong person entirely. Even more concerning, the beneficiary names on your retirement accounts or life insurance policies override what's written in your will. That means if your paperwork still lists an ex-spouse or someone you've lost touch with, that person could legally receive money, even if you meant it to go to someone else. And no one can change that after you're gone. I know this stuff isn't fun to think about. But updating your estate plan isn't about preparing for death. It's about protecting the people you care about while you're still here. It's about making sure they don't have to deal with unnecessary stress, legal fees, or family arguments during a painful time. So here's what you can do: pull out your old will or trust and give it a fresh look. Check your bank accounts, insurance, and retirement accounts. Who is listed as the beneficiary? Is it still the right person? If anything looks outdated or unclear, talk to an estate attorney or trusted advisor. It's worth it, not just for clarity, but for peace of mind. And don't forget to talk to your loved ones. Let them know what your wishes are. Let them be part of the conversation, so nothing is left to guesswork. You'd be surprised how much comfort that can bring, for you and for them. Keeping your plans up to date is one of the most loving things you can do. It says, "I've thought about you. I've made this easier for you." That's not just responsible, it's a legacy of care. Let's take a quiet moment to think about everything we've talked about today. Not in a heavy way, but in a clear, honest way. Because the truth is, getting older doesn't mean you stop being in charge of your life. In fact, the choices you make now matter more than ever. They shape not just your comfort today, but your dignity, your independence, and the legacy you leave behind. We talked about 4 simple but powerful ideas. Keeping control of your finances, watching out for those sneaky little expenses, building small income backups, and making sure your estate plans are actually up to date. None of these things are complicated. But they all require one thing: your attention. And I know, life can feel overwhelming sometimes. There are things you'd rather not deal with. Papers to look through, calls to make, conversations that feel uncomfortable. But let me tell you something: the fact that you're still here, still learning, still taking steps to protect yourself, that says everything about the kind of person you are. You've spent your whole life working hard, loving deeply, making sacrifices. You've earned the right to feel safe and respected in this next chapter. You've earned the right to protect what's yours. And every small step you take today, reviewing a bank statement, canceling an old subscription, updating a name on a form, sends a strong message: your future still matters. This isn't just about money. It's about peace. It's about knowing you've done everything in your power to keep your life on solid ground. And it's never too late to make a smart choice, to set something right, or to make a change that protects your well-being. So here's what I want you to do: take just one thing from today and act on it. Just one. Maybe it's making that phone call. Or asking someone you trust to help you look over your bills. Or pulling out your will and reading it with fresh eyes. Whatever it is, do it. Because those little steps, they add up to big protection. And finally, if you found something in this video that helped you, something that made you think or reminded you of something important, please share it with someone else. A friend. A sibling. A neighbor. There are a lot of people out there just like you, who could use a little clarity and encouragement right now. Thank you for spending this time with me. You're not alone in this. And I truly hope this gave you not just information, but a little strength too. We'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself, you deserve it.